So I finally finished Arcane, and it was way better than it had any right to be. This is coming from a League of Legends fan who's consistently been let down by Riot over the years. However, I enjoyed it so much, and I thought I'd used my extensive wealth of League of Legends knowledge, because unfortunately I played this game since open beta, to see if we can find all the Easter eggs and references within Arcane. Episode 1, let's begin. Obviously, spoilers! We started off with the song that Powder is singing at the beginning, which makes reference to rivers and towers, both important points in the game, League of Legends. Hey, there's Vi, and the girl that's gonna become Jinx, Powder. Easy points. This music box that Jinx finds here is the same music box that she gives to Vi in episode 9. As Vi and the gang are escaping Jace's apartment, see a platter full of cupcakes right here. This could be a reference to a lot of things. This could be a reference to Caitlyn's trap cupcakes, nickname as Cupcake. Vi has several voice line interactions within the game where she refers to Caitlyn as Cupcake. This is sort of a reference, but in this scene, Vi and the gang are running some enforcers that deploy these bolo-type devices. This is super similar to the nets we see Caitlyn use in League of Legends. So, kind of points? Later on, when Powder is running away from another boy, she deploys a very crude-made trap she calls Mouser. This is a foreshadow to Chompers, an ability that Jinx uses in the game. Oh, we also get these Teemo traps as graffiti on the wall right here. This is our first glimpse into Zaun, the Undercity, or what they will refer to as the lanes. The lanes is interesting because of the lanes in League of Legends. You have mid lane, bot lane, top lane, you get it. Once they enter Zaun, the gang pass by this guy right here. Now I could be stretching this one. He looks awfully familiar to a little shopkeeper we know, huh? I think that's a reference. I'm not sure if this is supposed to be a Blood Moon skin reference, but it definitely feels like this is some kind of reference here. Here's what I'm pretty sure is a baby krug, and these are definitely supposed to be dragon eggs. Either that or maybe raptor eggs. Seems they use gold pieces for currency as well, very similar to the GP you earn in game. If you believe the Vander is Warwick theory, which you probably will by the end of this video series, here's the first reference / foreshadow we have that Vander's gonna become Warwick. This is our first interaction with Echo. Now, Benzo has some very interesting things in his store right here. To begin with the view, there's Rabadon's death cap right there. We also have what looks like Mordekaiser's helmet over the door. Old school fans will recognize this in his hands as the Heart of Gold, an OG support item that gives you gold per minute. Echo also happens to be working on a grandfather clock in this scene, which is a very obvious reference to his time traveling abilities that he will later receive. Also in this scene, Echo has this line where he talks about working on a cannon pinion. I can only assume that this is a reference to cannon minion in LoL. This right here could be a reference to a longsword, a dagger perhaps. This could also be a healing potion. As well, you have Andrew's Torment and Haunting Guys. We have the first shot of an airship, which looks very similar to something that can be seen in the game. Speaking of Shopkeeper, the character Finn is likely based off of the League of Legends character Finn, the shopkeeper from Butchers and Bridge. Here's our first interaction with the character Singed in Arcane, before his face would later be burned in a chemical fire. Now, this is one of my favorites. A lot of people believe that this scene right here is the creation of Twitch, and frankly, I'm one of them. While I'm not quite sure we'll ever see Twitch in Arcane, this does seem to be an Easter egg or reference to the creation of Twitch, a giant mutant homicidal rat. Episode 2 sees the introduction of Rise, at least we're pretty sure this is Rise. I don't know many other rune mages. Here we see him use teleportation magic, which could be a reference to either his ultimate or the summoner spell teleport in the game. Here's our first viewing of Jace as a young child. We learn his obsession with hammers later on because of his family, House Telos. They are builders, designers, and their emblem is a hammer. Next, we get a double dip as we are introduced to Heimerdinger and his assistant Viktor. Obviously, this is human Viktor before he has undergone his metamorphosis with the metal. Next in this episode, we have the introduction of the Pharos family. Many in the League of Legends community will know that this is Camille's house that she belongs to, a very powerful house within Piltover. There's a lot of speculation on who the members of House Pharos are and if Camille will be introduced into Arcane in Season 2. Here we have a fun little Teemo video game. It's interesting how all the Teemo references are in the background, tiny little Easter eggs. In this photo of the Kiramans, we see Caitlyn with her famous hat. In this scene, they talk about Jace in the Academy. I just thought it was funny because Academy, Jace, you get it. This isn't really an Easter egg, but in this scene, there is a bit of a foil that happens later on in the season. So it looks like Jace is going to attempt to kill himself here. This foils another scene later on in the season where Viktor would attempt to almost kill himself in the exact same spot. In episode 3, there's a panning shot over a collection of Jinx's thing, and we see Vi's full name, Violet, written out right here. Oh yeah, and on the back right here, we see these two black and white wings, which I'm pretty sure is a reference to Star Guardian Jinx, even though that's a sneaky one, I gotta say. Here's some more foreshadowing and reference that, yup, Vander is Warwick. On this barrel of shimmer, we get Fat Boy Gragas' face. This is our first reference to Stanwyck Pididly. Now, this is going to be some obscure reference. In League lore, Pididly was the professor who brought Viktor from Zon to Piltover to study. He was also the person who stole credit from Viktor for the creation of Blitzcrank. In addition, he was also the person who was responsible for resurrecting Urgot. Okay, so I think this might be the crazy one. I'm the craziest one out of all the references I found. I'm pretty sure that this guy is Urgot, or at the very least, this is direct reference to the Urgot splash art. If we compare the two men here giving tattoos, they literally look like someone Control-C'd, Control-V'd. This one is super interesting because I'm pretty sure in the lore, Urgot is in Piltover somewhere around this time, so it would check out. Also, this tattoo is just the Pentakill logo. Fans of the game would have noticed this one instantly, as this is the Hextech Claw that Viktor will later use in League of Legends, one of his main damaging abilities. Oh yeah, and these are the gloves that Vi will eventually get. Here we see Heimer with his pet Poro, a creature that regularly shows up in the ARAM map of League of Legends. The gemstones really remind me of gemstone crafting that you can use in League of Legends to craft legendary skins. This croc gives me super Renekton vibes, and there's two more Poros here. We get a bunch of Kate backstory here, and this just seems to call a lot to her ultimate and how she takes aim. This is the jacket that Vi wears in the video game. This musical battle in the background here could be depicting one of the battles for Freljord? Freljord? I always say that wrong. Apparently this is Lamb and Wolf, Kindred, or they're just wearing the masks for Kindred. I don't really know. Viktor and his interactions with the Hex Core are very similar to Viktor and his interactions with the Hex Core in League of Legends. It used to be an item that was specific to Viktor and evolved with him, as it does kind of in the show. This mask back here in the brothel looks very similar to the Blood Moon TF mask. I thought this card right here on first viewing was supposed to be Jhin, but it very much could just be Silco. It's hard to tell. I know there's a lot of people that ran out there with the Silco is Jhin theory for a while. While stopping for a bite to eat in the Undercity, there's a creature here that looks very similar to a Gromp in the jungle in League. The young woman that interacts with Viktor here at this little pond is actually Sky, the woman who would later come to work with him and fall in love with him and then die in his arms. In this quick scene here in Marcus's daughter's room, we see in this book a multiple page reference to Teemo. The potion seller's shack that Caitlyn goes to bears a very large resemblance to the Shopkeeper's shack in League on the platform here. This Shimmer Addict is the same guy from the first scene that Vander saves. There's another Teemo here at the Firelight headquarters. Here we get the first kind of hint at Echo's Z Drive. In this episode, we also get an Eye of Zon reference. In addition, during a flashback here, we see Vander's face look awful wolf-like, confirming yet again that Vander is Warwick. When Mel's mother arrives, we learn that her son has died. This is most likely Jay Medarda, a character that appears in the Legends of Runeterra card game. My theory is the man that killed Mel's brother is none other than Swain. We know that Swain eventually rises to power in Noxus, creates his version of the Triumvirate, but this is just my guess. As Silco chills under the statue of Vander, we can see Echo's signature here. In these fight scenes, we see Jace and Vi use a variety of moves that they use in the game, more so Jace swinging his hammer, creating a shield around him, charging energy balls from the gun form. There's a picture inside Singe's pocket watch here that appears to be of his daughter Oriana. They share very similar hairs, the upward bun. Jinx finally gets fish bones here, her rocket launcher in the video game, and uses her ultimate Super Omega Death Rocket as well. And yeah, that's all of the references and Easter eggs that I could find. I know there's more that I probably missed. Please let me know in the comments down below. I think one of my favorite aspects of Arcane is how half the time whenever the music's playing in the show, it's actually playing in the world of the show. None more obvious than when they actually animate Imagine Dragons singing Enemy in the middle of like a bar scene, but they're actually animated singing it in the show for the characters. Let me know the other Easter eggs that I missed. If you enjoyed the video, I hope you like, comment, and subscribe. I will see you in the next one. Stay safe out there. Peace, love, adieu.